This is Alan Guitierrez, and I am speaking with.
Joseph Sherman, and I live on Edinburgh Street in Hollygrove, and I work with Acorn in the Hollygrove area.
And I understand you have some experience with the drainage situation in New Orleans.
Yes, I retired from the Sewage and Water Board as a planner scheduler, but I worked in field engineering for 15 years before moving over to networks. So I'm really familiar with the canal projects in the city. I've worked on a lot of them.
So, what is significant about Hollygrove in regards to drainage and pumping?
Well, the Palmetto Canal carries at least 65 or 70% of the water out of the city into the 17th Street Canal. Uh, we've always had problems with the Palmetto Canal in Hollygrove because the water that's coming, there are no flood walls on the Palmetto Canal, for one thing. But when during hard rain periods, Hollygrove would not drain because the Palmetto Canal would fill up and it was not able to drain. So we would have flooding back here. So we've historically had flooding for a long time. When they started with the Sela project, they built a canal system back here. And that canal system, they built a new pumping station to pump it into the Monticello Canal. The Monticello Canal has no flood walls on the Orleans side, and on the Jefferson side, the flood walls are from 8 to 12 feet high, and we have none. With the new system that they put in here, they're pumping more water into the Monticello Canal that can be drained from it. Now, there's a culvert underneath the airline highway that turns, you're draining a huge amount of water into this. You're dumping all this in the Monticello, but it has to go through a small culvert, so it can't possibly discharge all the water that they're putting in it. So we've been dealing with this problem for years now, and Sewage and Water Board has been saying that it's not their problem, it's the Corps engineers' problem, and the Corps engineers saying it's their problem. But through all the research and stuff we've done, the Sela project had to know that this thing was not going to discharge all the water that they were putting in it.
What is the Sealer project? How old is it? And
Okay, the Sela project is at least 15 years old, and it's called a Southeast Louisiana Flood Protection Program. And a lot of the work that's been done in the city over the last 15 years, probably before then. And it started with taking obstructions. All these bridges across the Palmetto Canal, they took them out the way so they could pump more water through it. They increased the size of the number of pumps that they have at the Broad Street station. They put canals in Napoleon Avenue, uh, Claiborne Avenue. All of this is draining down through the Palmetto Canal now. The last phase of the Sela project was the Carrollton drainage phase, and it comes from Dublin almost up to Claiborne, like Apple Street, all the way down Dublin to Forshey Street, Forshey down to Monticello, and it's a huge project. It also drains from, it runs up Eagle Street up to Forshey Street. So there's a lot of area that this covers, and if the Monticello could drain all that water, we'd be in good shape. But it can't. The culvert is a problem.
what are the solutions for this bottleneck?
Well, Mr. Sullivan, when we had a town hall meeting with the Sewage and Water Board, Ms. Madura called him, and they said that the state had plans 6 years down the road to make a bridge over that thing and to put it like it's supposed to be. But we can't wait for that. And so right now, there's some other people talking. Miss Madura's office is talking with the state transportation department, trying to see if they can speed that thing up. And but right now we're concerned about this year and getting some kind of temporary barrier up there until they fix it right.
By barrier, you mean a flood wall or levee protection on the Orleans Parish side?
That's correct. We saw some temporary barriers that Jefferson Parish used in various places during the storm. So, those are the kind of things that we're trying to get on Orleans side. One of the most important things about the Monticello Canal in the UNOP plan, when things were prioritized in our original priorities, the Monticello Canal was number 2 in District 8. That was the number 2 concern in the whole district. When it came out with the final plan, it went down to number 8. And so I've been in contact with some people from Dr. Blakely's office. And I think that ultimately Dr. Blakely's office is going to be the one to solve this thing.
So, can you talk about some of the flooding that Hollygrove has to deal with?
Well, I mean, it's a regular occurrence during heavy rain periods. It doesn't have to be a tropical system or something like that. But when it rains a lot, the Palmetto Canal is the first thing that fills up because it's pumping the majority of the water out the city. And as long as it keeps raining, the water keeps rising in the Monticello. And eventually, I think there have been 2 times this year when we've actually had that thing to come over the top.